Dan Illman, Mike Beer kicking off a 50-cent pick four at Gulfstream Park on Saturday with graded stakes action. Here's the field for the Sugar Swirl. Fillies and mares going 6 furlongs, a grade 3 worth $100,000. And Mike, just taking a look at the names in this race, I know one horse that you're not playing. You are contractually obligated to fade Frank's Rocket every time she shows up.
Yeah, I guess that's probably more the case now than ever before. I mean, mostly I'm just against her when they try her in, really serious graded stakes races because I don't think she's that good. Obviously, she's a better fit against a field like this one. But, listen, if she's going to be the favorite, I'm happy to bet against her.
She has a little bit of tactical speed. We'll throw up the Timeform US pace projector and see where Timeform US has this played out. And they've got a fast pace going on, Mike, with Sosua, the horse on the outside, expected to be up front. I'm not sure how the pace is going to play out in this race. Sosua is turning all the way back in distance. You've got a horse like Queen Watifa, who was on the lead last time out near the back of the pack.
Yeah, I don't. I guess it could be a little murky how it's going to play out. I don't agree. I'll just say I don't agree with this pace project. I don't think the 8 can make the lead in here. Personally, Dan, I'll be surprised if the 2 favorites, Frank Rocket and Center Isle, are sitting off in this race. I think they're both going to go.
Queen Watifa and Music City Star just ran 1-2, gave a thrilling stretch run at Gulfstream on November the 18th. We'll take a look at that race right now. This was not run at a very fast pace. Queen Watifa at 13-1, Music City Star at 25-1. They basically controlled this race throughout. The winner was coming off of a March layoff, so maybe we can give her a little bit of credit for that. She earned a career best 89 Beyer speed figure, and she's got a little bit of upside.
Yeah, she does. I mean, I guess in her defense, she was off of a long layoff there, and she fought really gamely in the stretch in a race that came back pretty fast. You can see that there was no closing going on behind the 1-2 finishers. We'll see if she can take a step forward here, Dan. I do believe that she has to. I'd like to see some confirmation on that 89 Beyer that she and the runner-up earned in the race. Personally, when I look at that race, if I was taking anybody out of it, and I'm probably not, I'd be taking Lori Lupes.
Right, a horse that was trying to make up some ground. And as Mike mentioned, they were running 1-2 around the track. As for Music City Star, it was nice to see an improved performance for a filly that had done most of her damage on synthetic and turf in her career. She was a giant price in that race. The good news is, if you believe, she'll be a good price once again.
She will. That was 2, I guess, good performances in a row on dirt for her. Or actually, the other one was on synthetic, actually, back in May, so that doesn't even count. I don't know. She ran fine last time, but again, I want to see some confirmation for that figure.
Major class relief for the 3, Frank's Rocket. This is a multiple graded stakes winning filly who's been in against Bell's the One of the top filly and mare sprinters in her last 2 races in Kentucky. Don't really love the way she ran in either one of those races. Her buyers have sort of tailed off from what we saw late 2020, early 2021. Listen, she can easily win this race. In many ways, she's the horse to beat, but I don't know if I want to take a short price because I'm not sure where she is from a form standpoint right now. I'm not sure she's as good as she ever was.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. Listen, if nothing else, it's pretty significant class relief for her out of her last 2 races. If nothing else, this is not a very strong field. The race 3 back, I guess, wasn't against a very good field either, a Colonial, but she had an excuse that day, breaking last and then trying to rally wide. I mean, I didn't think it was a great performance, but at least you could, give her a little bit of an excuse for that one. Listen, maybe she'll just win here, Dan, but we've already talked about this. I'm not a huge fan of hers. I don't mind her as the favorite.
Queen Watifa beat Lori Lupes last time out. We talked about Lori Lupes, Mike, trying to make up some ground. This is a filly that had shown some speed in the past. She broke from the inside as the favorite in that race and just kind of got locked in a little bit behind that slow pace.
Yeah, just couldn't get out. Sat right in behind the 1-2 finishers and then tried to get out to the clear at the top of the stretch, but there were horses right there to her outside, and they bumped her and kept her over behind, and it caused her to lose some position in the upper stretch of the race. Listen, her other races, she's hard to bet in a field like this one off of her other races. But again, if I was going to take anyone out of that November 18th race, I would take her.
No, I mentioned that Frank's Rocket may be the horse to beat. I wouldn't argue anyone that says that the 5 Center Isle is the horse to beat. While Center Isle finished behind Frank's Rocket in a couple of graded stakes races last year, you can argue that Center Isle is the now filly coming into this race, while Frank's Rocket might have tailed off a little bit. She has run twice this year for trainer Paulo Lobo off of layoffs. She was so impressive both times. Last time out at Churchill, it doesn't get any easier than that.
Yeah, just got a pretty easy lead in that race last time. Had plenty left when they came to Challenger and was just ridden out at the end of the race. I thought that was a good performance. I liked her return from the long layoff over the sloppy track at Keeneland as well. It does sort of seem like they've decided on using her speed, and maybe that's going to be a real benefit to her, Dan. We'll see if she can make the lead this time, because I got to believe they're going to try to. Saez taking over is not a bad thing. I just feel like she still has more upside, and I think she's going to be tough in here.
Looking for that graded stakes win. She cost $1.5 million as a 2-year-old in training. Compensate is the number 6, 20-1 on the morning line. Third start off a spring vacation for Compensate, who just didn't fire last time out in that Queen Watifa race. Really couldn't find the excuse.
Yeah, she was bad last time. It's hard to take her off of that performance. And it's actually, I think, hard to take her off of anything she had been doing prior to that too, Dan. She just looks she's in pretty tough here.
It's really cool to see the 7 Bronx Beauty still around and kicking. She is a multiple stakes winner. Now she's going to be 7 in January. She's won 11 of 31 starts, and she scored in the race we're going to show you right now at Monmouth Park on September the 6th. She still can run a little bit. I think you've got to give the Connections a tremendous amount of credit, because this is a mare that, usually runs a buyer speed figure in the mid 80s. They find the right spots for her, and she's also very game.
Yeah, she really is. It was nice to see her get back to the winner's circle. They did the right thing and sort of brought her back to an allowance race. Maybe sort of looking for a little bit of a, confidence booster for her. I mean, I think her prior 10 or 11 starts all came in stakes races. She ran fine, and several of those just didn't win any.
And she's a bit of a horse for course. I believe her last 4 wins have come at Monmouth Park. We'll see how she does here at Gulfstream as she steps up against tougher. If this pace is fast and contested, maybe she can pick up some pieces. Sosua cuts back in distance, adds blinkers, Lasix off for trainer Arnaud Delacour. They tried to stretch her out in the 38 Go-Go last time out. A race won by a strong closer, Miss Leslie. She went a solid clip, but boy, she stopped badly.
Yeah, that was going longer. And listen, the other time they tried to go longer with her too, at Colonial, she also stopped on the pace. So maybe she just doesn't want to go that far. I like her cutting back. That's for sure. She obviously has to improve to beat this field.
But 2 for 2 sprinting on the main track, and she has shown speed both times. A bit of an interesting price play. Top pick time for the Grade 3 Sugar Swirl Stakes. Center Isle, I think, is going to be very, very tough in here. The last race, really visually impressive. I think there's a lot of upside. I also think she's going to take a lot of money in this race. Won't be surprised if she even goes off close to favoritism. I'll take a shot with Queen Watifa, who won over the course last time out. She did get a very nice trip in that race, but she was coming off a layoff, and I wonder if she's reaching peak maturity for a good trainer.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if somebody can step up. I just, of the 2 favorites, I just much preferred Center Isle to Frank's Rocket, and I didn't really like anyone else, Dan. That was my problem.
I'm with you. I prefer Center Isle to Frank's Rocket as well. 5374 for Mike, 1527 for me. Let's kick off a 50-cent pick 4 on a stakes-filled Saturday card at Gulfstream. Good luck.